Okay, so our next cooking with steam recipe is Atlantic salmon. We're going to steam it nice and slowly with some crushed peas. Very simple weeknight dinner. To start off with, you want to get yourself a Ziploc bag. We're going to cook our peas in the bag with a few other little additives to give them a bit of extra flavour. So 3 peas in the bag. These are just frozen peas. The only vegetable we think that freezes really well. To your frozen peas, just add a pinch of salt. About 30 grams of butter. And the trick comes in here. This is bicarb soda. You just want 1/4 of a teaspoon of bicarb soda, and what this does is this breaks down the outer layer of the pea. Just makes it a little bit more palatable. To that, we'll add about 50 mils of cream. And then we'll seal up the bag. When we're sealing up the bag, what we want to do is just roll it up and remove as much air as possible. And then seal the bag. And that goes into the oven on steam setting, 100 degrees, for about 7 or 8 minutes until the peas are nice and tender. While your peas are cooking, we'll just prepare our salmon. Doesn't need a lot of preparation. So just a perforated tray and some baking paper again. So just tear yourself off a sheet of baking paper. Cut that in half. So this is a skin-on salmon fillet. We'll actually remove the skin once it's cooked. It'll be easier to take off. So a piece of paper in the bottom of the tray. Salmon on top. A little bit of seasoning, just a little bit. You don't want too much, because if you put too much seasoning, it'll actually start to cook the fish, and we're just going to let that sit there for a couple of minutes. And just a very small drizzle of olive oil. Just rub that in with your finger. Another piece of paper on top, and when the peas are done, we'll place the salmon in the oven. Okay, so next step, our peas are almost done, so I'm going to pull them out of the oven. When I take the peas out, I'm going to adjust the temperature of the oven to 52 degrees, and then we'll put our salmon in for 20 minutes. And then I'll give us perfectly cooked salmon fillet. So I'll just grab the peas. So there's our peas in the bag. And then our olive oil and salmon fillet is there at 52 degrees for 20 minutes. While our salmon's cooking, I'm just going to crush our peas. So all you need to do is just empty the entire contents of the bag into a jug. I'm just going to use a stab blender today, so it's going to be a little bit noisy. You just need to check the seasoning at this stage, so I'm just going to have a taste. Just make sure there's enough salt. I'm just going to add a fraction more. And we'll just leave that to the side, and we'll return it to the oven to warm once the salmon's almost finished. Okay, 2 minutes before your salmon's finished cooking, just take your pea puree and put it in the oven with your salmon just to warm it through. This is only just a warm dish, so we just want to keep that nice and warm. So now my timer's gone off, I'm going to take my salmon and my pea puree out. Just going to take my paper off. You can see I've had a little bit of protein leak from the salmon, but not much. And the reason for cooking salmon like this, so it stays super moist. You don't want to cook it at high heat because the temperature will dry the fish out. And just to finish off, just a mound of pea puree, or pea mash, whatever you'd like to call it, right in the middle. It's a very quick, simple midweek dinner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the salmon over and just remove the skin. It should come off nice and easy because we have steamed it. Flip it back over, just sit that on top. A little bit of extra seasoning. Just for another flavour profile, I'm going to put some roasted onion oil, just to give it a nice nutty flavour, roasted flavour. And just some baby herbs to finish. And in about half an hour, you've got the perfectly cooked piece of salmon.